Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. Merry Christmas! It's Christmas Day. I hope you are having a great day with your family and friends. And of course, this is our first day of our 12 Days of Christmas special, where we're putting out an episode every day for the 12 Days of Christmas. For today's episode, we have Netflix 346th film from 2021. It's the Polish romantic comedy called Squared Love. This in Polish, I'm going to butcher this, is Miłość, kwadratu. It's directed by Filip Zylber and stars Adrianna, Chlebicka and Mateusz Banasiuk. I'm Jesse. I apologise for the names there, but we're here. Merry Christmas. Hopefully we're all having a good day, as we said, and you're going to enjoy this nice little film from Poland. As always, if you haven't seen this film and you're interested in checking it out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on because we will spoil this as we go. So we kick off the show with our Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one is about two people living under different identities who end up working together. But is that all that will come out of this situation? Question mark. Ooh, romance is in the air. This is obviously an international film, and we do struggle at times to find anything out about how this one ended up on Netflix. Literally nothing online about this one. It was released on Netflix on the 11th of February 2021 and filmed in and around Warsaw in Poland. Around the world, translations for this film. So Squared Love is a reference to a conversation that's held in the film, and this film is about love, obviously, but in French it's called Love Powers 1,000. Oh man, soppy. In Hungarian it's called Unfathomable Ways. In Japanese it's called Dual Love, and in Norwegian it's called Double Love. I guess that sort of ties in a little bit with my Fast Flicks, what I was talking about. Netflix did announce that in their Q1 2021 investor letter that 31 million households around the world had sampled this movie, which is interesting. The word sampled, I guess, is a key word. Probably not watching it the whole way through. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? So on Rotten Tomatoes, it's rotten. It's from critics, it's 20%. That's on 5 reviews. Audience, a little bit higher, not too much, at 32%. That's on more than 100 ratings. On IMDb, it sits at a 5.1 out of 10 on nearly 4,000 ratings. And Letterboxd, it sits at a 2 out of 5 on nearly 3,500. And it's been logged by 5,500 people. So overall, you'd say not too many positive things to say about this film. So what are my early thoughts for this one? When I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure why, because this isn't the sort of film that I usually would, be entertained by. But looking back on it, I'm probably still not 100% sure why, but hey, I'm in on this one. Surprise, surprise. Let's get into it. We'll talk about some characters. So, as I mentioned, this is a rom-com. It's about our two characters. So we've got Monica, who is... Monica and Claudia is the same person, and then our male counterpart is Stefan and Enzo. So, Monica, Claudia. So, as Claudia, she's a world-famous model, and her secret identity as a teacher is Monica. So that's her character there. Like, Monica does this side modeling gig to help support her dad, because her dad has some debts to pay off some criminals. So that's the reason why she does it, because she doesn't like doing it. She's had enough of it and she wants out as soon as she possibly can. As a teacher side of things, I guess, she struggles there too, because the principal keeps a very cautious eye on her and demands performance from her, because she's always late and teaches in an unconventional way, and is struggling to juggle these two professions together is probably the best way of putting it. Then we've got Stefan, whose alter ego is Enzo. So in all the write-ups, he's meant to be a journalist. I don't see that anywhere in this film, really, but I would suggest the Enzo character is more a playboy celebrity, and Stefan is a poor family figure. He doesn't do much for his family. He gets kicked out of the apartment by his girlfriend, Alicia, who we'll talk about soon, and he does take on this caring role for his niece, who also happens to be a student in Claudia's class. Amazing how all these things sort of cross over in this film. I guess this film is about how he can change his immature ways to impress an intelligent, good-looking woman in Claudia slash Monica. So Alicia, I mentioned before, she's this producer who gets Enzo the work. He's living with her. They're in an open relationship, but her dog is way more important to her than he is. So, it's no wonder that he's happy to shop around and take advantage of this open relationship that they have. even though she probably doesn't necessarily want it to be open. So she's trying to be a little bit controlling, would be the best way to put it. We've got Andre, who is Stefan's brother, who he moves in with once he gets kicked out of Alicia's place. His wife has pretty much just upped and left, sort of like a midlife crisis sort of thing, and leaves him at home with his daughter, Anya. And that's where this gives Stefan a moment to look after his niece a bit. And that's a nice little side story I see as well. The director, Filip Zylber, obviously a Polish director. He's got 34 directing credits, which is quite a lot, including, which I wasn't aware of, a Netflix sequel to this film called Squared Love All Over Again. I didn't even realize there was a sequel until I looked up the director. And then I also saw that there's a third film in this series called Squared Love Everlasting. So there are 2 more films in this series. Wild. I did not expect that. Let's talk about some scenes in this that stood out, some ones that didn't work. So there's a scene where Claudia blindfolds Enzo. They go on this date and she takes him to her dad's workshop to see his car, and she blindfolds him, and then she just like walks him straight into this wall and he falls over. That was funny. I thought that was quite humorous. There's another scene towards the end where Monica's dad is taken along to the premiere of this ad by his co-worker, who we know is a pretty bad guy. He's tried to be gross with Monica at stages because he wants to reveal to him that his daughter's this model, and he tries to embarrass him about it, and the dad calls him a scumbag and then just whacks him across the face and says, she was doing it for me. I really like that. That was a nice dad standing up for his daughter moment. Couple of things that didn't work. Some things that didn't work. So I think the first time that Enzo sees Claudia on the side of the road, they're on their way to their shoot that they're making this ad, and she's like standing in the middle of the road, and on the other side of the road, and it's like in the middle of the forest, in the middle of nowhere, there are these 2 women working the street randomly. It just felt so off. Did not make sense for them to have some prostitutes working in the middle of the street, and then for him to insinuate that she was a prostitute too. That just didn't work. I think the whole Andre, and I understand he was a dad that felt left behind by his wife and having to care for his daughter, but like to support his daughter, he came up with this idea of writing fake letters from the mum to Anya while she was gone. It didn't add any humor, and I think that's what it was trying to do. So I didn't like that. Alicia, I mentioned before, she's meant to be in this open relationship with Enzo, but she sort of sees how close he's getting with Claudia, and she sees her in the bathroom and takes advantage of this to say, I'm vomiting from being pregnant. Like, just such a horrible cow move. And I didn't like that. And finally, Enzo and Claudia, they do on this date and they just go for a walk in the rain. Like, lame. Those sorts of scenes are super lame. Anyway, what's this film trying to say? What are some themes? What are some ideas? Obviously, the big thing is about being truthful about who you are so that people can actually like you for who you are too. This one's very obvious throughout, but that idea of moving fast, we know Stefan/Enzo moves fast, and Anya, his niece, sort of tells him, you won't notice the things around you if you keep going so fast. So, I mean, you even look, like, you think about his name, Enzo, like Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari, we get it, and his cars, and all these nice cars, and we know that Monica's mum died in a car accident, and her dad works in a car shop, and her dad refuses to sell this sentimental car. So that idea of speed and cars and slowing down and moving fast, very, very clear. We see lots of billboards of Monica on the screen as well, and I think it's probably talking a little bit about honesty from the media and from advertisers in what they put out to audiences. The Polish education system, to me, this is a pretty clear point that it needs an upheaval if this is how the system works. Systems suck for rating teachers like that. If you have to have performance year in, year out of progress, I mean, that's such kids don't all do well in tests. We get that. So I think that was a really interesting thing too. And obviously, this is a rom-com. You got to talk a little bit about love. Real love is squared. That was the line, I think, from the film. And there's the talk, always give your affection, because you never know when those moments won't be there to be able to do that as well. What did I take away from this film? I think it made me want to go and visit Poland. For a low budget, it made Warsaw look like this modern, appealing place to visit. So I think it was shot really well. I thought that was really good too. All right, some questions, some pondering, some ideas, some thoughts. There's a moment where Monica makes mention that if she had all the money in the world, that she would buy this farm that they're at. I just want to park that thought and let it sit there and see if it comes true in the sequels. I haven't seen the sequels. I know people probably have, but I'm interested to see if they do buy a farm, because that would be interesting. That'd be a nice connection to the first film. There's a moment where, and with Anya has an allergic reaction to fish. I'm pretty sure it was. So, she has to use her EpiPen at various stages, or adrenaline in this film. And when they're at the farm at one stage, she eats bird food. Kids that age, they're not that dumb. especially when we know and we hear about Anya at school and how well she's doing and how intelligent she is, why would she eat bird food? It just didn't make sense. That was stupid. And the final thing, the principal in this film, come on, like, he would not be working in an educational system in real life with an attitude like that. That was such a bad stereotype of a character. So they're my thoughts. Let's wrap this up. We give the film a rating out of 5. I mean, it's pretty lackluster fare, but the leads engaged me in this film. I was interested in where it was going to go. I now know there's sequels, and I'm kind of keen to see what happens with this couple. So not all negatives for me. I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. Probably a little bit high, but 3 out of 5. Solid for me. We're on socials. We've got Instagram. We've got Facebook. And we have X, formerly known as Twitter. The question that I wanted to put out there for this episode is, like, did Stefan grow enough to deserve Monica? Like, Monica is this smart teacher. She cares about her kids. She cares about her dad. She's intelligent. She's good looking. She can do whatever she wants. Like, Stefan, the progress of him as a character, yes, we see that he cares for his niece and with his brother and supports him and things like that, but I don't know, like, does he deserve her? I'm not sure because she seemed like a pretty pretty good catch. Anyway, that's left there to ponder. We're back tomorrow. Yes, we're back tomorrow. We're doing this every day for a while. So tomorrow we have a teen rom-com from 2021. This is a pretty big film. We have done 2 episodes on the previous films in this series, but this is To All the Boys, Always and Forever. This one's directed by Michael Filmanari and stars Lana Condor and Noah Centineo. Wow, the 3rd film in the All the Boys series. Wow, I wasn't expecting it to come up so quickly, but we've got it tomorrow, so hopefully you're in the mood after a nice big Christmas feast to listen to that tomorrow. As always, thanks for listening and hanging out, and I'll see you tomorrow.